This is Saturday, November 16th. There are 248 days until San Diego Comic-Con 2020. Welcome to SDConCast, the official podcast of the San Diego Comic-Con unofficial blog.
VANUHTEE go.
Oh my god, I love LiveJournal, and my LiveJournal loves me. Current mood is hyperactive, current music, Refuse 73. I love the color scheme in pink and purple.
Good morning. I am your host, James Riley, and joining me on the podcast, as always, Carrie Dixon.
Hey guys, thanks so much for joining us this morning.
And also joining us this morning, Andy Wagner.
Morning, guys. What's up?
Okay, so what are we doing today? Today is, open registration?
Something like
Yes,
Okay,
it is.
We'll, of course, take questions during the show. And let's see, you can tweet us at SD_comic_con. You can use the hashtag SDConCast. We'll be keeping an eye on the live YouTube chat, so you can comment there. We'll probably be answering questions multiple times, so don't worry about it because it's a long enough podcast to have to answer them a few times. And let's get off and running. What do we need to know, Carrie?
So everything seems to be going smooth so far. I haven't seen any real issues with the waiting room so far. A couple people said they had issues, but mostly seems to be related to their internet. I haven't seen anyone getting kicked out. As I say that, someone just tweeted us, anyone having an issue with getting kicked out of the waiting room unauthorized page. That typically what that means is that your code is used somewhere else. So just remember, you can only use your code a grand total of once. If you have multiple codes, then that's like where seeing different browser windows and different devices comes into play, but you can only use your code a grand total of once. So you talk while I answer this.
Okay, I'm going to talk now. So as you know, when you're on the waiting room page with the spinning blue circle, the yellow banner will change regularly. That's one of the ways you can tell that the page is reloading regularly. The spinning blue circle is your little, well, I mean, it's technically your friend because that means that, you know, you're waiting. But of course, we all kind of despise the little sucker. When 9 o'clock rolls around, they will put up a banner that they are sorting and will begin soon. And then they will start letting people in groups, and we'll just keep an eye on how low inventory is getting when they post that and when they sell out. And last year it sold out in roughly an hour. I'm pretty sure Carrie, when she's ready, will have the numbers on when each day sold out.
Yeah, I can talk about that real quick. Okay, so last year it took 72 minutes total for open registration to sell out. It was less than that in returning registration, but I do think it's very possible that they push more badges to open reg. But last year it took 72 minutes total for preview night, which is always the first thing to sell out. Last year that took 28 minutes. The year prior it took 23. Last year, Saturday sold out next at 37 minutes after the sale went live. And then 10 minutes later at 47 minutes after the hour, Friday sold out. Next was Thursday, which happened at 66 minutes past the hour, and Sunday at 72. Now, again, that's all past the hour. It does usually take like 5 to 10 minutes for them to get everyone sorted and for them to start letting people through to actually purchase. And we are including that in these times just because we don't know exactly when they start letting people through. So, but yeah.
But quick. I mean, for 50,000-ish tickets, it goes fairly quickly considering they don't let everybody in at once.
Yes, I mean, it's a very quick, efficient process. If you don't already know, just because this is open registration, so this badge sale, unlike open registration, is combined to people who may have attended before and then people who have not attended before. But if you do get through, there's a couple things you need to know. Number one, the first screen is basically going to ask you for I believe, a last name and a member ID, maybe just a member ID of the person that you are purchasing for. That does not have to be yourself. That does not have to be the person whose code you're using. As I say every freaking year, if you like, let's just say you're a family of 3 and mom's on Chrome, dad's on Firefox, and our friend little Timmy is on Safari, you don't have to remember like whose code is associated with which browser. It doesn't matter, truly doesn't. So just use the last name of the person you're purchasing for. If one of your friends gets through and purchases your badge, but you want to stay in and get somebody else's, enter their info. Done.
And Fizz10S asks, how many people can you purchase for?
A grand total of 3, including yourself. But again, you do not have to purchase for yourself. The only requirement is that the person has to be eligible for this sale on their own, and that if someone gets through earlier and purchases their badge, then like it's not going to let you get in and do it again for them, basically. But you need to know that, and then that's the main thing to remember. Truthfully,
Yeah.
I don't remember what else I was going to say.
And if you are buying for family and or friends or in a buying group, remember that if you put a name and member ID in and it says that is not valid, that means someone has already purchased for them or is in the process of purchasing for them.
Yes.
So you would move on to the next person on your list.
Yes. And also on that screen, don't go too fast, because one thing that you do have to remember on there is it'll ask you how many people you're purchasing for on that very first page. If you are purchasing for 3, you want to make sure you select 3, because otherwise they may have changed it last year, but I know in previous years, like you could not then go back and like add 2 more. So make sure you select, this is how many people I want to purchase for. Then when you get to the next screen, and it'll show like the available badge inventory, everything there is held for you for 15 minutes. So you can slow down. Everything's okay. If you get chosen, like you could relax. I know that's not how this works.
Too much.
I know that's not at all how this works, but you can try.
Yeah, that 15 minutes, it is a good chunk of time, but you just have to remember that it does go fast when you're scrambling for credit card info and last names and member IDs. So it's always good to have that on hand now before you get in.
Yes, yes, it is. And don't forget to communicate with your group. I know that like we all get so like caught up and, oh, we just want to do this. Like it's still important to talk to your group. Most groups have like Google Doc, like make sure you go in and mark off names, make sure you text whoever, do whatever you need to.
So just as an idea, we can go over this for Supersonic Force asked, I have 2 PCs logged in, so how good are my chances? Double. But you still have low chances because based on 2013 numbers, roughly 1 million people logged in to try for tickets. And if only 50,000 roughly tickets are available, guess what? That means you have about a 6% chance of getting a ticket. Badge. Sorry.
Yeah.
You must say badge. So it's going to increase your chances, but your chances are already pretty low. So it's not like it increased it a ton.
Which is also, though, like why we always say work in a group, because the more people that you work with, the larger the chances are that someone will make it through. So, I mean, again, you can purchase for up to 3 badges. So let's say you're in a group of 6 people, then instead of like all 6 people needing to get through, only 2 people actually in that group of 6 need to get through in order to purchase badges for everyone. So again, groups are absolutely the way to go. There's so many out there. Far D tweeted us, FYI, 3 out of 4 of us had to log into our accounts this morning to get our registration links because they never came in the email. Yes, if you for any reason do not have your registration link or your registration code, you can go log into your member ID and get both of those. Those are stored hopefully for you there.
Also, make sure to check your spam or your junk mail folders too, because I know mine ended up in there this year. I don't know why. It's been several years. This is the first year mine ended up in the junk mail, but sure enough, there it was.
Yes. Okay. So we've been getting a lot of questions about this too. So again, let me just clarify. People are asking, like, how do you have multiple devices or multiple windows? Again, let's say you're a family of 3, then like maybe all 3 of you has a code. that is where like the multiple devices come into play. You can only use each code a grand total of once. The only exception to that is like if you run into any problems and you like, let's say, get booted out of the room, you can re-enter that code to re-enter the room. But you can't like put the same code on Firefox and then on Chrome on the same computer. It'll know that like the code is being used more than once and it'll boot you. So
Yeah, and whichever is the last window you log into, it will tell you, okay, this is your active window. None of those windows are good anymore.
Right. All right. What questions do we have, James?
I haven't seen any, but let's ask the question that Englishman in San Diego asked, and there's probably quite a few people who are trying for their very first time. So for all of you first timers, good luck. And again, if you have any questions, we'll try and answer everything we can. And hopefully it's successful for some of you, because we know it won't be for many of you, unfortunately, but hopefully for some of you that it will be a successful first time.
Yeah, unfortunately, the sale it's always so much harder than returning registration, because the thing with returning registration is, you know, like, oh, well, I didn't get exactly what I wanted, but there's still open registration. This is pretty much the end of the line. I mean, there are contests, and last year the Comic-Con Museum sold a ton of badges on eBay, but obviously that was more than market value. But this is pretty much the end of the line. So yes, unfortunately, this sale is just filled with a lot more heartache. But for the first 72 minutes or so, it's also filled with a lot of excitement. So let's focus on that.
I mean,
Yes.
Everybody's got their cookies or their donuts or their coffee or
Yes.
their alcohol. And I think I saw someone with, was it meatballs?
It was cocoa. It was like Cocoa Puffs.
It looked like meatballs.
Oh.
I thought the same thing, but you had to like click on it. I was like, oh no, it's Cocoa Puffs.
Like meatballs in the morning? Okay. But yeah, so you know, it's like a party atmosphere for roughly half an hour or so while we're all waiting for the sorting to start, and we're like, all the anticipation is there, and then it starts, and then in about an hour and a half, there's very, very happy people jumping around celebrating, and sad people who didn't break out the wine early going to break it out now.
The good news is, for right now, it's like the Schrodinger cat of badges. Like, you both have and don't have badges. So until they like officially start sorting us all, it's great. We'll see what happens.
We have to open the box at some point.
Yes, unfortunately. Okay, so real quick, no lollygagging asked off-topic question. How are you guys liking using Zoom now in place of Hangouts? We like it, but I think the real question is, what do you guys think? How is it on your end? I know we had a couple people who said that they were having some audio issues.
That was just someone who had turned off their browser audio on accident.
Fair enough.
People are saying that the Zoom is okay or good. I think last time people said that the actual quality was better, so that's nice to hear.
Yeah, so let us know, guys, if this seems better, the same, worse, whatever. We had another question. Andy, you can answer this. Sheldon Cooper asked, first time volunteer here. Do I just show up at the volunteer area in the morning of each day for my assignment?
You can. Technically, you can show up, I believe it is after 5 p.m. the day before, sometime in the evening. You can show up the day before your assignment and get in there a little bit earlier. But if you show up first thing in the morning, get there super, super early, because it is first come, first serve for the assignments. Chances are, especially if it's your first time, you'll probably be a line person. Somebody standing there holding a sign saying end of line, or line continues this way, or something along those lines. But the sooner you get there, like I said, you can get stuff like various room assignments, things like that. One thing I want to mention, though, is you do get more or less graded on your volunteer assignment. So when you get there, you want to do a good job. They don't want people who just stand there and don't do anything really. They want people to be helpful. They want people to engage. So if you don't, basically, if you don't measure up, they will kind of mark it down and you won't be eligible to volunteer again. So they watch. They watch.
So Rockford Ice Hogs asked, I sadly missed returning registration, so I have to try open registration. Are odds of getting in better or worse or the same? Significantly worse is the answer. So we did some super rough, probably not entirely accurate math a couple of years ago. And if you assume that a lot of things, if you assume that like they do the same amount of badges in each sale, which maybe they don't, no one but Comic-Con actually knows. We figured out that you have roughly in returning registration about a 50-50 chance. And in open registration, simply because the pool of people who are trying is so incredibly larger, you have about a 6.11 chance.
And that's, someone pointed out, which I did mention it, that's 2013 numbers.
Yes, so it's probably even higher.
More. Yeah, so it's probably more like 4 or 5% these days.
Yeah.
There's more than 1 million people trying, which I assume there probably is.
I would assume so as well, because 2013 numbers was like 900,000. So I think we have probably easily added 100,000 people to the member ID pool over the last, 6 years.
Yeah.
So, as JT Smith though said in the chat, 6% is better than 0%, James. So they are not wrong, but so it's significantly worse. So like I said, unfortunately during this, we just have a lot more unhappy people, but for now we don't know. So think positive thoughts. Hopefully you'll be one of the lucky ones.
Hopefully. How much time do we have? We have 12 minutes until sorting.
Yeah, looks that way.
The what they're doing apparently in the yellow bar this year for open registration is going through Comic-Con history and giving little trivia bits about the history of Comic-Con, which, if you are not aware, last year was Comic-Con 50 without using the word anniversary, because it was the 50th con, because they ran 2 in 1 year. But this year technically is the 50th anniversary, I think, or next year, something like that. Basically, it's the 50th convention last year, but it technically wasn't the 50th anniversary. So if they're continuing to do anniversary type things, that's why.
Yeah. And I mean, again, if Disney can do their anniversaries for like a year and a half, 2 years, like I think Comic-Con's fine.
Whatever.
Hey, as long as the ball's still rolling, why not?
Right.
That's right.
So let's see. Do we have any Twitter questions or other questions?
Also, I want to give a shout out to Jen E in the chat. She's a fellow Penn State fan. Let's go State. We need this win today. 8-1. Can't believe last week.
How many hoops do they score in a period?
Usually about 3.2 every fractosecond.
Got it.
Okay, so Anthony Chance asked last minute question, 2 people, 1 laptop. Is it better to have 2 different web browsers, as in 1 code per web browser, or someone use their phone? So Comic-Con International's official answer is that they do not recommend using your phone if that's the only thing that you have. People report success every single year. And truthfully, I have literally never heard of anyone having an issue on their phone. So the answer is I would probably recommend using the 2 different browsers over the phone. But again, if you want to use your phone, or if your phone is all you have, then that is just fine, in my personal opinion.
Yeah, actually, in returning registration, we got through on my wife's iPad, and we were able to use that. It didn't give us any problems this year. So
yeah, like I said, I have literally in all the years we've been doing this, I have never seen an issue with an iPad or a phone. But again, Comic-Con International does say that they do not recommend it. So use your own best judgment.
Yeah. And I think over the years, the iOSs have become more stable and stuff like that. So I think it's gotten a little bit better. But again, everything is always at your own risk.
I appreciate, James Binder, that you asked in the chat if I saw that gold Colonel Sanders Funko Pop yesterday. Yes, I had like 5 of you tweeting me about it. So thank you guys. You know what I like. And don't worry, I own it. And I'll be getting it in the mail shortly.
But this history thing here is actually interesting for purchase of badge sales. Is 2008 was the first time they sold out all days in their history. 2012 was when they hit max capacity. So even though they did sell out in 2008, it was not hitting max capacity probably because they probably weren't using all areas of the convention center at that time. So they just had to keep, accessing and using more areas in the other hotels and things like that.
The other interesting thing about this is that it does mention we're making strides to increase space by utilizing hotels and outdoor venues, including hosting, programming, events, blah, 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 blah. But it mentions Barrio House and the Comic-Con Museum, which they used for the first time last year. So I would guess that it's highly likely they will use both of those again this year.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Dapper Dan had a question about credit card usage. Does it have to match the person you're buying the badges for? No. When you get in, if you're purchasing for 3 other people, you have to use 1 credit card on that purchase.
Yes. Credit card payments cannot be split, and you cannot use PayPal.
So it doesn't have to be your credit card. Again, if someone's trusting you with their credit card information, you can use their credit card information, but it's only 1 credit card per purchase.
Yes.
One time you're in to purchase. It can be up to 3 badges.
Yes, and don't forget that they also add on the $7.50 registration fee. And as I mentioned on Twitter earlier, if you purchased some days in returning registration, you would have been charged a $7.50 registration fee then. But if you purchase more badges today, so let's say you're adding on Friday and Saturday today, you will be charged that fee again.
Go ahead.
Also, if there does happen to be an issue with your credit card during the transaction, they don't automatically just dump your sale. They will contact you and try to straighten the situation out. So if something happens with your credit card, don't panic right away.
Which is so awesome of them to do that.
Oh, yeah.
Like they absolutely do not have to. But we hear from people every single year who are like, oh my God, Expo Logic called me and like I put in my card number wrong or whatever. So they're very nice people.
They really are.
A couple of things. Juan Miguel asked, do prospective international attendees have the same chances getting in as locals? Yes, absolutely. Everybody has the same chance. It's a completely random sorting process. They don't care where you're from. It's just, do you get picked or not?
Yeah, literally the only thing that's different for international attendees is just if you put your address in the member ID, your shipping address in as an international address, your badges will not be mailed. You will have to pick them up on site. But that's literally the only thing that's different for international attendees.
We do have questions about Star Wars Talk with James, and if we do have a lull and not too many questions later on when the badges are selling, absolutely, I have things to talk about.
Oh, Lord.
I haven't gotten around to see Chapter 2 yet of The Mandalorian yet, so not too many spoilers, please.
Oh, I won't tell any spoilers. It's more about just the feel and look of the show, and I love it. Because I do.
Yeah, me too.
They just had one up, which I forgot to look at and read the exact details, but they were talking about the SAM conference that they do now, the Storytelling Across Media, which they're going to be doing annually, it looks like. And that is a completely free event that they hold at the Comic-Con Museum. And it's a day of panels and other informational things about storytelling across media. And they do get guests like Jim Lee and some movie movie makers and all that kind of thing. And basically, if you see them posting about that and you live in San Diego or want to travel for it, make sure you get a ticket, because the theater only holds like 250 or something like that. So it's a pretty small theater, but it's a great little event, 1-day event to go and basically just kind of 1-day convention, basically run by the people who run Comic-Con. So you know that they have good panels.
Yes.
Yeah, someone posted it for me. Thanks, Lollygaggin. Free 1-day event held at the Comic-Con Museum in Balboa Park. I think they've run it in the Comic-Con Museum twice now, last year and this year.
Yeah.
It started in San Francisco back in 2016. I'm not seeing any other. Well, actually, we should be. We are at 8:56, so we're just a few minutes away from sorting. We're still getting some information. This time, it's about the blood drive.
Yeah. So again, when they do start sorting people, basically at 9 a.m. Pacific time, the waiting room will close to new entries. If for any reason you get kicked out, you can still re-enter using the same code, but you have to have been in prior to 9 a.m. But it'll take them a couple of minutes to get everyone sorted before people actually start getting through to purchase badges. So just keep an eye on Twitter. And obviously, if you're listening to this, you're probably watching this live. So we will also tell you when we hear that people start getting through. So that's what we are waiting on right now. Mantis Man asked, what happens at preview night? Is it a big deal if you don't get a pass for that day? So preview night, it really just depends on what you're into, because the only things that are open during preview night are the show floor, and then up in Ballroom 20, they show a couple of TV pilots with no cast in attendance. It's only open from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. So it's a very shortened experience. It's basically just a chance to go onto the show floor early for a couple hours, knock a couple things out. If you don't get it, it's truly not the end of the world. I know we held our party for years and years on Wednesday night. So James and I at least didn't get to go to it for how many years?
5 or 6 years.
Yeah, 5 or 6 years. And I mean, it was nice to go back last year, don't get me wrong, but I also don't feel like we missed anything major by not going. So don't feel like you're hugely missing out if you are not able to score preview night. It is definitely the hardest day to grab just because it has the smallest capacity, because again, it's only 3 hours and they're not using the whole convention center. So don't panic about that.
Yeah.
And go ahead.
It was really great being able to get some shopping done and go around and look without worrying about what panel I might be missing or offsite I couldn't go to. It was really cool. So I enjoyed being there, and it is a good thing, but it is not a mandatory thing, especially if you're not a exclusive shopper.
Yes. And again, just like don't feel like you're missing out on anything major if you don't get it. It's just a nice little perk. But this is also a good time to say that there is no such thing as a bad day at Comic-Con. Every day can be an awesome day. Even though Sunday is definitely the lightest day, and even though we're not supposed to say it, it is probably the quote unquote worst good day at Comic-Con. If that's the only day you can get, I mean, there's still so much to do. You can still go on the show floor and spend a whole day there. Like, there's a ton of stuff to do. So if days do start selling out, like, don't panic. Don't get too disappointed with how many offsites there are these days. Like, you can, quite frankly, go without a badge at all and still have a truly amazing time. So don't panic about days selling out. Get what you can. And again, getting whatever you can also means that you are eligible for returning registration next year, which is a huge thing because it means you have a significantly higher chance to get a badge.
All right, my computer clock just turned to 9 a.m.
All right.
Those who are watching, you probably are like, wait, it's like 9:01. What's going on? And yes, it is a little bit of a delay on the YouTube. So we would like to mention that the latest thing is stay calm, don't refresh, and good luck, because it's moments away. But they'd like to dedicate this badge sale to their president, late President John Rogers. He deeply loved Comic-Con, our mission, their mission, and all of their wonderful attendees. This one's for you, John. So yeah, it was a sad day when John Rogers passed away, because he definitely was one of the key people, making sure Comic-Con got to be what it is today.
Yeah.
Oh, and while we wait, I wanted to address Damien from the chat. What am I doing? What am I waiting for? My mother's in town, so I've been a little preoccupied this week.
Visiting relatives will do that.
From Pennsylvania, it's 3,000 miles. I have to do something,
So Kay Duarte just said on Twitter, I already have tickets for Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Today, I'm just going for preview night. If preview night sells out, can I still purchase tickets for other people? Absolutely. Again, when you get through to the screen that asks you for the member ID that you are purchasing for, just enter the member ID of your friend instead of you, if that's the case. You do not have to enter your own member ID.
Someone asked, I can't remember because it was past the thing there, but it was, what are some of the good booths to check out on preview night? Whatever your favorite thing is, because it will most likely be there. There's the big booths like Marvel and WBDC, Sideshow. How many other different booths? There's some studio booths. There are TV booths. Netflix has had a booth there. So there's tons of stuff, but then there's also comic dealers, action figure dealers, basically sellers of
Artist
everything.
Alley.
Yeah, Artist Alley is actually an awesome place to go to
press.
get original art or get commissions on anything. I mean, so much stuff. Basically, where wouldn't you go? Because you can just walk around and be like, oh, this is awesome. Let me walk around for another 10 hours and not see everything.
Funko is probably the one exception to that, because basically on preview night, they let their Funko Forum members in, and you have to be selected prior to the convention.
So you can walk by and look at the booth.
Yes, you absolutely can. No one is stopping you from doing that. We had a question. Joshua asked, are you eligible for returning registration next year if you purchase a pass, or do you have to attend Comic-Con? So their official answer is that right now you can purchase a badge for next year, not attend, and still be eligible for returning registration the following year, basically because they understand that family emergencies and different things happen. However, basically, if too many people start abusing the system, then they reserve their right to change their mind at any time. So it is possible, it's not guaranteed, and please don't abuse the system.
All right, so they're doing the sorting now.
Yep, they're sorting now. Yeah. We are just waiting to hear if anyone has gotten through. We haven't heard anything. It usually takes between 5 to 10 minutes.
And now is the time where people beg and pray.
Yeah, a lot of panicking gifs going on Twitter.
Quick question, not even really connected to the registration, but Tyler asked, would Uber be recommended rather than trying to find parking? That's just depending on what kind of parking is available. If you get into group 1 on the ACE parking sale when it happens next year, you might want to go for parking, because then you'll probably get convention center parking. But if not, then Uber might be the way to go, because it's going to be roughly the same cost, if not cheaper, than parking each day at a $30 to $50 lot. And
don't forget about the trolley. The trolley is great.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Oh yeah, it gets crowded, but it's a lot of fun.
Yes. Yes, it is.
When question Anish asked, do you know when the sorting process will stop? Basically, as soon as you see people being let in, that means the sorting process is essentially done.
Yes.
And everybody's in line. We can't see where we are in line, but there is a line, and they will start letting people in.
I kind of see it as that line of infinite rays from
The Last
Jedi.
Yeah, everybody's just waiting in line and waiting for the same thing.
Yep. And we have no idea which one of us is real.
Yep. So again, right now we're just waiting to see anyone who gets through. So if you guys start hearing people getting through, let us know. Right now, it's all just a waiting game.
Yep.
Yep.
See, the people, I appreciate the people who send us spinning gifts, but in this case, it's a spinning otter. Those are spinning.
That's way more fun than spinning blue circle.
Oh yeah.
So Mr. Easy Go Lucky asked, did prices for tickets go up this year? Yes, they go up every year. However, they only go up usually about like $3 to $5 a day, so it's not that much of an increase. This year, if you purchase all 4 days plus a preview night badge, they are $304 plus the $750 handling fee. So I think last year, don't quote me on this, I think they were like $294 or something like that. So they went up, but not astronomically.
Yeah, I've got 906 and I'm still not seeing anybody saying that they've gotten in.
Oh, Timothy Gray just said I'm in.
Okay.
So we might have somebody here in.
Yeah.
So this is a question that I get asked a lot, but we answer it multiple times because it's very important. Olivia asks, if I bought tickets for Thursday, Friday, and Sunday in returning, can I get Saturday and also preview night? Absolutely. If you manage to get in before they sell out and you haven't bought those days, you can absolutely buy those days today.
Yes.
David Wetzel also says they are in to buy.
Okay.
So good luck to those of you, and congratulations to David and Timothy, who have both gotten in on that are in the chat. So yes, people are getting in now, which means the sorting is done, and now people are just getting let in groups. And we don't know the size of those groups. It's just, it could be a few hundred, it could be 1,000 at a time. We don't know how many it is, but they have to monitor inventory, and when it gets closer to the end of a day being sold out, they obviously don't want to let in 1,000 people when there are only 100 badges left for Saturday.
Right.
So they may vary that.
So Supersonic Force 123 asked Timothy, when did you enter? So because it is random, it truly does not matter like when you enter the room, so long as you do it prior to 9 a.m. Pacific time. It's all just random. So like the time you enter has no bearing whatsoever on it. The analogy that they always use that we love is that we are all just little Cheerios in a bowl, and a big giant spoon comes and scoops you up, and you and the spoon have no way to really know like which Cheerios it's going to pick up. So it's all random.
Prectory asked, do volunteers get priority codes? Nope, they're in the same group with everybody else.
Yeah.
Let's see.
But the good thing about volunteering is, let's say, for example, you don't get one day that you wanted, just volunteer that day. I mean, you've got to put in a 4-hour shift, but you get the day badge is valid. So really you can put in a shift and then go do whatever you want.
There you go. Looks like more people are getting in.
Yep, and the yellow status bar definitely confirms that now. It says, we sincerely appreciate your patience. The waiting room is slowly moving people to registration sessions to ensure this is running efficiently.
So Mantis Man and Julia Seven both got in on the YouTube live chat. So our YouTube live chat is very lucky today.
Yeah.
And Usman Shah asked, if we were stuck with Sunday, is that a bad day? No, absolutely not. A lot of people don't like Sunday because it doesn't necessarily have as many panels that they like, because there are absolutely fewer movie panels and fewer TV panels. So if that's your thing, Sunday is not as interesting a day for you, but the show floor is still hopping and there are plenty of panels about a bunch of different things. So it is not a bad day. It is just not as good a day if you want the big movie and TV panels. But they have been having things like Dr. Who on Sunday. What is it? Riverdale, I think, is on Sundays, or has been in the past. So there are panels. It's just not as many.
Supernatural used to be on Sundays, so it'll be interesting.
But it won't be this year.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they fill that with, if anything.
Yes, it will. It used to be like the big FX day, but they don't really do that in there anymore. So who knows what Sunday is going to look like these days? All right.
That's another thing is it's the last day of the con, and some vendors may want to get rid of stock. And so if you are a shopper, there may be some deals to be had.
Yes, definitely. The vendors are exhausted and they don't want to take all their stuff home with them. So you can probably get really, really good deals.
Yep.
Manish also asks, how long do we have to wait until we know we are in or not? Until it's all sold out. Then you know you didn't get in if you didn't get in. But that's about it. Basically, it'll change your page if it's your time, and you'll be able to enter in a member ID and last name and start the buying process. But until then, you just don't know until it sells out.
Will B in the chat says, I'm on the volunteer list. You just show up on the day you want to volunteer. As we said earlier, yes, if you want to show up on that day, you want to get there incredibly early. If not, you can get there the night before. I believe it's after 5 p.m. and you can get your assignment for the next day that way. Either way, expect really, really long lines. It's Comic-Con. Everything's a long line. But for volunteering, you want to get there as early as you possibly can.
So plenty of people are still getting through right now to purchase. So again, last year it took about, it was 28 minutes past the hour when preview night sold out. The year before that, it was 23 minutes. So we should have somewhere between about 10 to 15 minutes left with people still getting through and preview night being available. So this is the happy party time. This is great. Congratulations to everyone in our chat and who follows us, who's getting through right now.
Yep.
Hopefully that continues. For most of
Ollie
you.
Gagan said a friend got in and got them all 4 days plus preview night. So congratulations to Ollie Gagan.
Ooh,
So,
right.
and then Gojiro asks, isn't Sunday Star Wars Day? I think Friday is Star Wars Day.
Yeah, it is.
Usually in like 7AB, I think it is the room. There's like Star Wars panels all day long.
Sunday is Kids Day.
Kids
Day.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's Family Day.
Family Day.
I think it's called.
Because I still want to go
yes.
watch some cartoons. Come on.
Yes, but especially like if you're into the cartoons or if you've got kids, like there's so much fun stuff going on
like
Sunday.
art, like drawing classes where they provide some material so you can draw stuff or create stuff. So yeah, there's plenty of things to do.
Yeah.
That is a loaded question, Ahana. Does anyone know anything about Brooklyn Nine-Nine? I know about Brooklyn Nine-Nine, but if you're asking specifically about Comic-Con and whether they're attending, all signs point to most likely because they have been there the last 2 years.
And not only have they been there, but like NBC has gone like all out with them. Like literally their offsite last year was Brooklyn Nine-Nine. So I would say since it just got an early renewal, not even just a renewal, but an early renewal, I think you have a very strong chance of it being there.
There you go. I don't know if they're going to do the same offsite because they do like to change that up and not do the same one each year, correct? The Tin Fish.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think they do a different one each year because last year was 9/9. The year before that was The Good Place.
Yeah, but that will not be there next year.
Correct.
And Fizz 10S says Star Wars is Saturday, so it would interfere with the Kevin Smith panel. Not true. It was a Friday panel. I know because I was there, and yes, it was Friday. Kevin Smith, does he do Fridays or Saturdays? I think he used to do Saturdays, but now he recently has been Fridays, I think.
No, I think he's always.
Last year was Saturday. That one
He's always done Fridays because Saturday's Marvel.
Right? Yeah, he.
He does Fridays.
Was actually, but this year he was Saturday because they watched it after the Marvel panel. So yes, this year.
There you go.
Man, they all run together. Let me tell you.
They do.
Yeah,
they do.
Also, Penn State just scored. It's 7-0.
For two of you that care. We know there's probably more, but two of you have mentioned it so far.
Yeah. I think I saw one more person, so there's 3 of us. So
Headless Ed Stark asked about preview night for Funko, reserved for the forum group, the Fanatics. There is no lottery for Funko on that night because it is all reserved for them. They start the lotteries for Funko on Thursdays. And the process for the Hasbro booth on preview night is the same as any other day. If you have one of the lottery wins, or I think this year they did their Hasbro Pulse members got in as well. So if you have a Hasbro Pulse account and you win one of the slots, or if you win in the lottery, you just go with your lottery time and you go in there and you buy.
Seeing a lot of successful badge holders now on Twitter. Congratulations to everybody who's been
Lots
getting
of
through.
people getting through. So it should still be a couple minutes before preview night sells out. And then it'll be a couple more minutes after that before Saturday sells out. So there's still plenty of time for you to get through and get everything. Fingers crossed for all of you.
Yeah, and I haven't seen...
Steve Marshall just asked, why does my blue circle stop spinning after the auto refresh of the screen? If your blue circle stops spinning, don't stress. Like it's okay.
Because your screen is still refreshing.
Yeah.
So in the latest yellow thing, it says pay close attention to the number of people you select when you enter as how many you want, because it is not possible to go back and change it. So remember that you cannot change the number when you put in a number. So if you're going to be buying for 3, make sure you type 3 there.
Yes.
Yes, patience is definitely required at this time.
Yeah. Just everybody remember to breathe.
Nothing has sold out yet that we know, but we are getting close to, most likely close to preview selling out, since it is the lowest quantity day.
Yeah, so again, last year it took 28 minutes. Year before that was 23 minutes. So we're looking at 5 to 10 minutes here before preview night sells out. So you still got plenty of time. And again, even if it sells out, it's not the end of the world. We did not go for 5 or 6 years, and we lived to tell the tale. So, and this is a good time, I guess, to mention again that so our party used to be on preview night, but we are definitely keeping it Sunday night this year. We had a lot of fun with that. I think you guys did too. And there's also so many more options now on preview nights. Back when we started, it was like just us or preview night, but there's so much going on now. If you don't get preview night, you can absolutely find something else to do. But we hope on Sunday night, when the convention closes, that you will join us for the only Comic-Con after party that is actually after Comic-Con, as James likes to say. So, theme TBD. We did PaceyCon last year. Someone suggested GaryCon for this year. And I know we're pretty fond of that. So that may happen.
It might.
It might.
Anything is possible.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, I haven't seen any complaints, no technical glitches yet. So it looks like things are running smoothly for now. Let me knock on some wood there.
Yeah, I've seen a handful on Twitter. Mostly just people saying that they've had like unauthorized pages. That's mostly it.
So quiet. It's Star Wars talk time.
Yay!
Do it.
Okay, so just to fill some time, because we're all waiting to see when stuff goes out.
Oh, hold on.
And now we go.
CCI just tweeted, preview night inventory is running low. So I would suspect that it will sell out closer to 3 minutes than 8 minutes from now. So
so the newest Star Wars thing that has happened is Disney Plus finally came out after the long wait, and The Mandalorian came out with 2 episodes so far, and it is amazing.
Yeah.
Andy, you said you've seen just the first episode?
So far, yes, and I absolutely loved it. one of my daughters actually pointed out that one of her favorite things is how he's still building up his armor. Like he levels up like it's in a video game.
Spoilers. Let's try not to talk.
Yeah, no spoilers. No spoilers, guys.
But you could probably infer that from trailers where the armor looked differently in the promo images versus the actual trailers. So, did you see it, Carrie?
No.
No. Did you get Disney Plus?
Yeah.
Oh, geez. It's really good.
I know everyone else in the universe cares. I just don't. But yay for you guys.
Look, I had to squeeze in some time for The Mandalorian in between The Rescuers and a Goofy movie, and I think yesterday was Smart House. So every
Very
obscure Disney movie and popular one, I might add, is being played in this house until the end of time now.
She's side-eyeing you.
And yes, my wife is side-eyeing me.
So The Mandalorian is basically feels like A New Hope in the way it looks and kind of it just feels like it. But it is absolutely a world that is being lived in. It looks exactly like George wanted Star Wars to look, which is a world that is lived in. And since it's after Return of the Jedi, about 5 to 7 years, it's like everything's like junk and there's lawlessness everywhere. And it was just so much fun. And the story is so simple. The plot, it's literally like I've seen people basically reference Lone Wolf and Cub or The Man with No Name, spaghetti westerns with Clint Eastwood. So it's that kind of a thing where there's virtually like a single line plot of the story, but because it's Star Wars, like everything that's happening is like filling the world and giving you more information to geek out about like, how does this thing happen? Well, guess what? We'll show you a part of how that thing happens that you always wondered about. Or here's some more of this character or type of character that you never got to see much of, but here's more about that. But it's just part of the story. It's not like it's the big thing about it. The big thing about it, of course, is the Mandalorian, his job and what's going to happen. And that big, massive thing that's at the end of the first episode, which we will not talk about.
No.
And so I wanted to mention, which Mr. Resco Lucky says, is Verizon. If you have Verizon Unlimited, either for mobile or home, I think 5G home, you can actually get Disney Plus free for a year. And for those of you who have already signed up and you have Verizon, they will put your subscription on hold that you paid for and let you get it free for a year. And then you can get your subscription for another year, whatever you have. So it's pretty awesome. But yes, as far as the other things, I am absolutely, as soon as possible, watching The $1 Million Duck because that is crazy. And I remember watching that as a kid, and it's going to be insane. Plus all the other things. I mean, all of the Gus and Absent-Minded Professor and the computer who wore tennis shoes. I mean, all that awesome stuff. It's going to be great. I'm never leaving my house again. Go ahead,
We're
Carrie.
still seeing tons of people getting through. Congratulations to DJ Ferry 18 in our chat, who said that they are a first-time attendee and they got all 4 days plus preview night. That's awesome. For the rest of us, we are still waiting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm still seeing that preview night's running low, but it's still not out yet.
Right. So what'll happen is when preview night sells out, CCI will tweet. They have not tweeted yet. I would expect them to tweet, quite frankly, at any minute now. Let's see.
It's, if question of how many computers member IDs are people using when they get in. And it only takes one, but most people are in buying groups. Oh yeah, the Jeff Goldblum show on Disney Plus. I haven't watched that yet, but that's going to be awesome. There's so much to watch. There's so much.
Yeah, I'm really excited for that one. I got to check that one out.
Forky asks a question. What is money? It's funny. Come on. Anyway, I'm done Disney killing.
And DJ Ferry 18 said, I was all by myself and got in. So that is a very lucky first time attendee.
There you go.
Congratulations. It does happen. It's just, again, that you get a little bit more luck if you work in buying groups, because the more people trying for you, the better the odds.
So then, now this is crazy. Camden says they didn't get anything in returning reg, but all nights plus preview night and open reg. So with worse odds, they got everything. So it can happen. Absolutely.
It can happen. It does happen. Again,
so
at
many
this
people are getting
exact
it.
second, nothing is sold out. It might be different 2 seconds from now, but right now nothing is sold out. So you still have plenty of hope.
Excellent.
Yeah, and if something sells out a split second after you get in, you'll still see it. It'll have that inventory right at that snapshot moment when you get in.
But if they let in 500 people and there's only 400, 100 of you, if you're not fast enough, may not be able to purchase it. May tell you it's gone by the time you actually purchase. That happened 2 years ago. I don't know if it happened this last year during returning reg.
I don't remember.
I do remember hearing it happening last year. They may have fixed that particular issue though.
Yep. So again, we're still just waiting. It's 27 minutes past the hour. So we are actually right on last year's timing right now, because last year it was 28 minutes past the hour when preview night sold out. So we are just waiting. And then after that, the next day that sells out should be Saturday, which last year Saturday sold out at 37 minutes past the hour, Friday at 47 minutes past the hour, Thursday at 66 minutes, and Sunday at 72 minutes. And that was the end of the sale. So we are still just waiting. Comic-Con did one of their most helpful yellow status bars that they do every time, which is, do you have a special character in your last name, like an accent, umlaut, or hyphen? Please make sure you enter the special character if you are selected for a registration session. Yes, that is very true, because it has to appear exactly as it does in the member ID.
I'm seeing a lot of people on Twitter.
Yep. Yep. Again, this is the fun party time.
So Bill asked about does it usually sell out overall, and that number was what?
72 minutes.
72 minutes? Okay.
Yeah. For last year.
Not too long.
No, not too long. So after this badge sale, things will very much quiet down. We'll start having some WonderCon news. But beyond that, we usually don't start really getting Comic-Con news until like February-ish, which is usually around when they do like the early bird hotel sale. The general hotel sale is typically in April. And we really start ramping up with Comic-Con news in May, which is also when we will start doing our regular SDConCast podcasts.
Yep.
Oh, and I can't wait to start up the artist commissions list again. That was fun last year. I enjoyed doing that.
Fun. I'm so glad that you did that. I think it was super helpful for people, including me.
I know it helped me. I found a lot more artists that I want to get commissions from.
Steve Marshall asks, what's a buying group?
So a buying group is basically just any group of people that are working together to purchase badges. So again, like let's say you only need one badge, but if you work by yourself, then like you have to get in order to be able to purchase it. If you work with two other people, then there's three of you, then only one of you has to get in, and then all three of you can get badges through that one person. So that's what we mean like when we say a badge buying group. There's all kinds of ways to find them. Twitter is a great way to find group of people, Facebook, all those kinds of things, or just work with your friends. The more people in your badge buying group, the better your odds. But again, always work with people that you trust because of a couple of reasons. Number one being that if anyone else in your badge buying group does something shady, Comic-Con will cancel all of the badges in the order, even if you were not the one who did something shady. And also you are spending $304. So you want to make sure that you are giving money to someone you trust.
Yeah, what you said.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So T. Ryan Arnold says, I miss having SDCC blog on my RSS feed reader. If you are the person who has emailed me, I did see your message that it was broken. I have not looked into it yet, but I will at some point in the off season.
Okay.
So we still have not had Comic-Con tweet that preview night is sold out, and we are at 31 minutes past the hour. So
I did see someone mention that they got in and preview night was sold out. So
oh, did they? Okay, well maybe Comic-Con just hadn't tweeted yet then.
because the people that they let in when it was still active are still purchasing, and it's not technically sold out yet. But who knows?
Yeah.
For what Shady means, Tech Toys, Shady is trying to sell your badge on Craigslist, eBay, or anywhere else, things like that. So yeah, it's basically trying to resell your badge.
Also, Indiana scored, so now it's tied 7. Yep. Here we are.
Is it still preview night going? Did they forget to tweet? Is it not sold out? What's going on?
I don't know.
I haven't seen the tweet yet.
Not either.
Penn State just scored again and kicked a field goal. It's 10-7.
According to Michael Lambert in the chat, big red letters saying sold out for preview night.
Okay, well then
They haven't tweeted
let's.
yet.
Okay, yeah, I'm seeing that on Twitter too. SDCC Insider tweeted that preview night sold out. So, okay, preview night sold out. 32 minutes.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know why CCI didn't tweet.
I'm sure we'll see something soon.
Yeah, it's not saying anything on the yellow status bar either.
Yeah. So like I said, it may have something to do with how they
CCI just tweeted.
There we go.
Like I said, it may have something to do with how they let people in groups, and one group may have preview night available, so it's technically not sold out, even though the next group doesn't have it. It's like CCI was listening to us. The yellow bar is exactly what we just said like 2 minutes ago.
They might be. I don't know who's watching. All right. So, okay, preview night sold out. All other 4 days still available. Carrie, how long do you think that's going to take to for the next day to sell out?
Okay, so Saturday last year sold out at, what did I say, 37 minutes? Yeah, 37 minutes. So we are actually like quite a bit behind. So I would guess maybe at like 40, 41 minutes past the hour. So let's see what happens.
Yeah. The yellow status bar finally acknowledged that preview night sold out.
All right. So let's see what we got going on here.
Bill Miller just said congrats to me. I don't know why.
Because you got gold Sanders pop?
Oh, maybe.
Or just generally congratulations because you're awesome?
Maybe. I mean, I'm definitely not I haven't made it through yet.
Couple of questions. Amanda Panda, do you think Marvel will be there next year? We don't know.
I hope so.
Yeah, but if they have something to announce, they absolutely will. And Danielle at Ritter asked, when are panels usually announced? Panels start getting announced unofficially by the people in them, usually about a month or two before, depending.
Yeah, I mean, we usually start getting like a handful of announcements, usually like late May, early June, and then usually like a month before we start getting quite a few.
And then the official schedule with all the panels is released 2 weeks before.
2 weeks. Yeah, John P asked, when do hotel sales usually start? Okay, so there's 2 hotel sales. There's Early Bird, which is not going to be any downtown hotels. It's only hotels by the airport and in Mission Valley, and you have to pay the entire amount, and they're non-refundable. That usually happens in February. Usually in April is the general hotel sale, which is significantly harder to get a hotel for because it is effectively a lottery, but you only have to purchase you only have to put down a 2-night reservation, and those do include downtown. So Comic-Con tweeted, Saturday inventory is running low. You may not be able to purchase a Saturday badge if you are selected. However, they tweeted that like 12 minutes before previous night sold out. So I'm not so sure how much we trust CCI saying inventory is running low. Maybe their version of low means something different.
We had, who asked the question? Ben asked, if in the waiting room, if someone else buys the badge for me, would I still be able to get through and buy badges for others? Absolutely. Just remember to enter in the very first field someone else's member ID and last name that you're buying for. Don't enter yours.
Yeah.
All right. Look at that. All kinds of people getting in.
That's the nice thing about Open Reg is so long as you made a member ID in time, you are eligible.
Yep.
And you have the same chances as literally anyone else.
Excellent.
Yeah, one of the guys at my work was telling me that he and his family are trying for the first time this year. So hopefully if they're watching, good luck. Hope you're getting in. And yeah, we're all in this together.
Yes, we are.
Yep. All right.
Saturday badges are
Saturday's
sold
out.
out.
Yep. 38.
All right. Well, Comic-Con got back on the ball then.
I guess the social media person woke up.
Yeah.
They must have been throwing around a ball around the office and didn't want to stop playing, throw the ball and not drop it. Something like that, you know. Things you do when you're sitting around and running.
They went for that extra donut, you know.
No, that's why you get the ball in the cup, because even if the ball falls out of the cup, it's attached to the string.
Is it? There's a string? When I play catch, there's no string. So many people are getting in. Man, so many people.
So again, last year it took about 10 minutes after Saturday sold out for Friday to sold out. So we should have a few minutes at least until Friday sells out. And then after that, it usually just kind of depends. Thursday and Sunday are pretty interchangeable, and they usually sell out at roughly the same time.
Is John P. asks, is anyone going to the big concert at Petco on Friday night of Comic-Con? Carrie.
I am not, though I would love to. There's just way too much other stuff going on Saturday. But I love Fall Out Boy an insane amount. And in fact, the story that I always tell is the first time I came to San Diego and slept on the sidewalk was not for Comic-Con, but actually for a Fall Out Boy concert. So, hey, it was a small venue. I was one of 20 people who actually had a ticket. So I technically did not even have to wait in line, but I got barricaded at that tiny little show. So thank you very much.
Was that one of the 32 times that you've seen Fall Out Boy?
Yes, it was.
Was that what, 4th and B?
Was it what?
Was it at 4th and B, the place, or was it one of the other smaller venues down there?
I could not tell you the name of the place. All I can tell you is that it was near a Target and an IHOP. Oh.
Okay.
Yeah, we were discussing concerts the other day, and you guys were all like, this was my first, or this was whatever. And my best concert story, I think, is I won tickets when I was in San Diego to 91X's New Year's Eve concert, and the headlining band was Red Hot Chili Peppers, which, cool, Red Hot Chili Peppers. But the second opening band was Pearl Jam, and the first opening band was Nirvana. That was an awesome lineup, and I got to see them. Yeah, before they all went their separate ways or bad things happened. But that was an amazing lineup, and actually, we just watched Nirvana and Pearl Jam, and halfway through Red Hot Chili Peppers, we're like, and we left. But that was back when Eddie Vedder was still climbing the rafters into the ceiling, which was amazing to watch, and also very, very dangerous.
Yeah, but I mean, it made for great videos on MTV, because MTV actually used to play videos.
Yeah, right. Yeah, Friday night's going to be a mess with that concert. That's going to be insane.
Yes, it is. I am so curious to see how they handle people loitering outside for that, but we'll find out. I do think, though, I think it's awesome that they are utilizing that space again, because basically since Nerd HQ and Carnival and The Walking Dead, whatever it was, all left, Petco is pretty much sat vacant during the con.
The yellow status bar says Friday is running low.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that means they might actually beat the sellouts of last time. Christopher asked, does the Saturday Hall H line in front of Petco? Absolutely not. It goes behind the convention center, not across the street. So you don't have to worry about it messing with the Hall H line.
Yep.
Jason asked, wouldn't they have had the concert last year? No, because it's not connected to Comic-Con at all. It's just Fall Out Boy decided to do a concert during Comic-Con because that's the way it worked in their schedule, probably.
And Friday is sold out.
All right, Friday gone. Uncle Pappy asked, what happened to Nerd HQ? They had to stop doing it.
Yep.
Zach has stated that it will probably never happen again in San Diego, but he hopes to have it somewhere else.
But he's a big star now with doing Shazam and all that, so who knows if he's going to have time to do it. But he does love his nerds, and so if he can get it done, maybe in Austin during South by Southwest or something like that, he will absolutely do it again if he can. I don't see why he wouldn't. He just loved doing it. And remember, as we mentioned, there are probably at least or roughly 1 million people trying for 50,000 tickets. So as with anything where demand far outweighs supply, there are going to be a lot of unhappy people. It is not, there is no other system or other way that they can do it that would be allow more people to get in because they don't have the space. How are you going to change the system? Yes.
I just got in, so I'm going quiet.
Okay. That means I have to talk a lot.
Well, I'm not in yet, and I'm here, so we can chat.
We can. So there is no other system that will allow more people to get in. The only thing that will allow more people to get in. Friday's gone?
Yes, Friday's gone.
Okay. Yeah, it is. Okay. So the only thing that's going to let more people in is more room. And right now, there is no official, ongoing, and approved plan to expand the convention center. They want to, and they have had plans in the past, but it's not going to happen so far. So basically what they're doing is, as they've mentioned, they're expanding to the hotels. They're using like 3 or 4 hotels, the Comic-Con Museum, and the Barrio Logan, in whatever it is, the venue that they have there. So they are expanding to offer more things. It's just there's still not enough room. So they can't let in that many people, you know. So there's going to be unhappy people.
Yeah, and when you think about it, there are what 130,000 badges sold every year.
There are 135,000 people attending the convention, but that also includes professionals and press and all of that kind of stuff. So the attendee badges, they're a vast majority are attendee badges. So I would say somewhere probably closer to 115, 120,000 maybe are attendees. Right. So it's definitely over 100,000 of them are attendees, because they don't have, you know, there aren't 25,000 or 35,000 pros and press and other different kinds of badges. So, so yeah, if there's over 100,000 attendees and there's 1 million people trying, that's 900,000 people that are going to be unhappy, and it's just a fact of life. There's not everyone can go every year. This way, everyone has an equal chance to go. Obviously, people who have been attendees before have a better chance to go, a much better chance, because half of them can go again. But that still means that they all have to try if they don't get in.
I did see someone post on Twitter that they did skip last year and they were able to get in and go again this year. So I know a lot of people hate doing it. They don't like skipping years because they like having that returning reg and open reg odds. But it is possible. People do it, and it's not easy, but nothing about Comic-Con is very easy. So it's all about the randomness and the luck of the draw.
And some people are mentioning like do it like Coachella, where they do 2 weekends. Coachella still sells out and is horrible to get tickets, because what if you want to see one artist versus another on a weekend? That means there's still a demand for that weekend, and it's not going to change. If the Marvel panel is on Saturday of weekend 1, everyone's going to want to go to Marvel on weekend 1, and it's going to be that everyone's still going to want a demand, and the demand will still be there. You're not lessening the amount of demand for the item. You're just spreading out what people will be willing to attend. So if they spread it over 2 weekends, I'm assuming about 1 million people will still want to go for 2 weekends.
Oh yeah.
So it's not like you're lessening the demand.
You're just spreading it out.
Just spreading it out.
Okay. Yeah, besides, what if they drop the Snyder cut on 1 week and you've got the next week? Oh my God, you're gonna miss that, man.
No, we are not doing this.
Someone, Nelly Billy asked, what if they only allowed new attendees to be allowed to do open registration? Well, that's not the Comic-Con way. The Comic-Con way is always, let's have as many people have the chance as possible, and they keep everything fair. What they do for returning members is obviously because they want to reward people who have attended in the past and let them keep going, because it's just one of the things they've chosen to do. But for open registration, I mean, I'm sure there would be people who would game the system if they tried to limit it that way. With returning registration, it's very easy to limit it because you either did have a badge or you didn't. But for open registration, there's really no way to limit it to new attendees only, because there are people who could game the system. It looks like we're doing okay generally.
Yeah, I haven't seen any news about Thursday or Sunday yet, so those badges are still available.
Yes,
and now it's like, which one goes first? It's going to be Thursday, but it might be close.
Actually, there was one year where Sunday did sell out prior to Thursday, but yes, generally Thursday sells out just a tiny bit before Sunday. But again, there's no such thing as a bad day at Comic-Con, and even having one day means that you are eligible for returning registration next year, which means you have significantly better odds to then get more badges. Which is awesome. And again, with so many offsites going on, there's so much to do. So don't stress if you don't have every day.
Yeah, if Amazon brings half of what they brought last year, it's going to be amazing once again.
Yeah.
We answered this earlier, Jason, but we'll answer it again. If you get a badge for Sunday but decide not to fly in from the East Coast for just the one day, will you be eligible for returning registration? Current rules from Comic-Con state that you will be eligible, but they reserve the right to change their minds at any time. That's the short version of that answer that Carrie had a longer and better, more detailed answer earlier in the show.
Yes.
Oh, we didn't mention the offsite of the library. Yes, the library is actually a location that they use for panels as well. So they have definitely expanded the Comic-Con campus to multiple places now.
Yes.
Are the library panels badged? I forget.
Yes, they are. We have this question every year, and it's always been kind of confusing. But yes, you do need a badge to attend those panels. The panels that you don't need a badge for are those the like librarian conference thing.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
Whose name I forget. You have to like register for those, but you don't need a badge for those. But those are really for like educators and librarians. It's not like movie star people.
Oh, and by the way, Penn State scored again. They're up 17-14.
They were losing for a while.
It's been going back and forth.
All right. I thought they were like the mighty Penn State.
Lawrence and Ash, you think Ronan will be back next year? I would say odds are very high. There was some question of whether or not he'd be back last year because of the change in format on his show. And considering he was there, I think it's very likely that he will be back.
Probably.
Yeah.
Until he stops having fun doing it, probably.
Yep. Yep. Or until the ratings start sucking.
Which doesn't look like is going to happen anytime soon.
And since the only Sunday and Thursday are left, if you do get those days, definitely go and do offsites Friday and Saturday, because there will be some awesome offsites during the convention, and it will be totally worth your time to be there in town.
Absolutely. And if you're an approved volunteer, you can volunteer those days.
Danielle's asking about educator's badge. Do we know much about that? I think it's lumped in with professionals, correct?
It is. Yes, educators and librarians can apply for a professional badge. You're obviously not guaranteed one, but I think he's actually asking about the education and librarian conference that I was talking about, which again, I forget the name of it. You can Google and find it, or just pay attention to our Twitter, closer to. And like I said, for that, you don't need a badge at all. You just register on, I want to say, like the library's website. But that's different. It is related to Comic-Con, but it's also not. So don't worry about that.
Jason says San Diego might be one of the best cities to vacation, and in parentheses, live. That he wouldn't know. I do know, and so does Andy. San Diego is one of the best cities to live in. It is awesome there.
It really is. I mean, there are very few bad days here.
I don't live there anymore, and I wish I did. Yes, San Diego's an awesome town.
I mean, if you ever want to move back, I'll find you a place. You just can't live with me. We're full up.
Yeah. That's okay.
Still not seeing anything about Thursday and Sunday.
Yeah, someone's mentioning that some of the offsites have horrendous lines. And yeah, that's Comic-Con. Some things are going to have lines for hours and some things are going to walk in after 10 minutes. It just depends on when you go, how long you're willing to wait, and what the offsite is.
And let me make a quick suggestion in that sometimes the offsites that are just a little bit further off have much shorter lines. Thursday inventory is running low. But a lot of times the ones that are a little bit further out are so much easier to get into, and sometimes they're amazing. Like that Amazon Fire one 2 years ago, it was not that far, but it was further than, you know, a lot of them. That place was amazing, never had a line, and they even had like a free party one night with free alcohol. So that was cool. And then last year, the sci-fi karaoke was just a little bit further out. The karaoke bus, that was awesome. That wasn't too bad of a wait. So check
Yeah,
out.
the old experience was a little further out too, and that was totally worth it.
Yes. So sometimes walking the extra block or two will get you a much better experience without the huge line.
And you'll most likely find a really good place to eat along the way.
Yeah. So Alexandra Gallant just said in the chat, also, if you are in town Sunday, some of them stayed open this year and some are open preview night. That it's funny you say that because normally Sunday at like 2 p.m. I mean, they're like trying to tear it down, like get me out of this town. Like, so it's good to know though we're open. And again, Sunday night you can join us for whatever our party will be, but it will be Sunday nights. John P said offsite last year was Bacon Fest. Damn right.
Christina Garcia asked, is the ticket limit due to actual convention space? Absolutely. The fire marshal will not let them sell above a certain number of tickets for attendees.
Yes.
So they don't even set it. It's the fire marshal sets how many they can sell.
Yeah, trust us. If Comic-Con could fit more people in there and make more money, they absolutely would. Tiffany asked, do you need a badge for offsites? It depends on the offsite, but by and large, most of them you do not. In fact, a lot of them that say that you need a badge don't check. So there are a handful that do care, but for the most part, they don't. Bacon Fest was the Wendy's thing, Sheldon Cooper.
Wendy's thing? I think it was.
It was, yeah.
Yes, yes, that's right. It was.
You went on a boat and you got like free bacon burgers. Like, come on.
But if you went out into the gas lamp, you could go and get some Szechuan and see a panda on a screen.
Oh my God, you guys, yeah. This panda. Somewhere Sean Marshall is laughing.
Panda Express. Right.
Yes, you and the panda. Okay, so people are still getting through. Thursday inventory is running low, but it is not sold out yet. And then Sunday should go pretty shortly after that. But that is what we are waiting on right now. I'm glad to see so many of you made it onto the Wendy's bacon boat.
Nice. On Twitter, Kristen asked if I was in a buying group, my badge will come to my address, correct? Even though they bought it? Absolutely. Badges are shipped to the individual attendee and their address and their member ID.
You do, though, have to confirm your address by, I think, May 13th.
Yes.
So a good time to do that is basically right after the sale. Go to your member ID, check that your badge is confirmed, your address is confirmed, and yeah.
Thursday's out.
Oh.
Ooh.
And it is the Saturday tornado alarm on my end. that happens every time we do one of these.
Of course.
Alexandra asked, how on earth is this the first time I'm hearing about a bacon boat? Well, there's a lot of information flowing on when it gets close to Comic-Con, but we did post about it and talk about it. So
Yes.
You just have to pay attention to everything.
There's so much information, guys. So much. Like, I know it feels like a lot on your end, but imagine how it feels on our end.
Yeah. Exactly. Beauty in the Brief asked more hotel information, please. Is there some sort of system? Absolutely. We mentioned it earlier, so if you rewind and listen, you'll be able to hear it. But the brief thing is, in February, there is a early bird typically, and that is a pre-buy, no refunds or exchanges, and it's not a downtown hotel. I think the minimum requirement is 4 days, maybe 3 days in some cases. And that is available around February. And then in April, the actual Comic-Con sponsored hotel sale happens, which is also a lottery. And that more information on that will be coming once they announce what day it is. So you can just pay attention to our Twitter feed, SD_comic_con, and we will announce when those hotel sales are happening.
Yep. And the general hotel sale is a lottery, and it sucks.
Because it's not live like this. It's let's email something and let's see what happens. And also, what are they called now? Not. Is it On Peak? Still On Peak?
It's On Peak.
They're owned by.
It used to be Travel Planners, but now On Peak bought Travel Planners a couple years ago.
On Peak is not exactly known to be the best of communicators.
Or transparent.
Or transparency in what's happening, or in things going well, with bad forms and whatnot happening any random year.
The year of 2015 was, quite frankly, the worst that Comic-Con has ever been. But aside from that, the sale has definitely gotten better the last 2 or 3 years. It's stressful and it sucks just because, again, everybody wants to stay downtown and there's only so many downtown hotels. But it's gotten much better than it was. So
Sunday is running low. Danielle, you're welcome, and thank you for watching and or listening. We do this because we like to do this and we like to help. So thank you.
Supersonic Force 123 said, I don't really care if I don't get preview night. That's good, because preview night sold out about like 40 minutes ago.
But I think they did get badges a while ago, didn't they?
Yes, I think so too. I just thought that was funny. Again, there is no such thing as a bad day at Comic-Con. Get whatever you can. Not only will you actually get to go to Comic-Con, which in itself is awesome, but it also means you are eligible for returning registration next year. So even if you're disappointed right now that a couple of days have sold out, get what you can. Always just get what you can. You're still going to have an amazing time. I've heard from so many people who just went to Sunday, like even if it was their first year, and they're just like, oh my God, this is amazing. This makes me like want to come back and get more days. So like you will still have an awesome time. In fact, you might even have a better time because you won't be freaking exhausted.
It is. I mean, we all take vacation days to go to Comic-Con, and we need a vacation afterwards.
Oh yeah, I always take the Monday off. The Monday after Comic-Con is my rest day. I can't go back to work.
Oh, or you can be like me, and Sunday after the convention ends, I've gone to Disneyland once or twice.
Because she just did not walk and stand in enough lines the previous 5 minutes.
I know.
Because she knows everybody's down in San Diego that weekend.
Okay. Jen E said this year nothing.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I think one of the years you went to Disneyland, I think we joined you, but like not until like 4 or 5 that night. We're like, because it took us forever to get back home, and like,
oh, you joined me like a day later. Like I was there like Sunday night, like in line at Disneyland, like, yeah. You guys didn't show up till the next day.
Yeah. We like sitting around in our hotel one more day, just been like, we don't have to stress getting out of here while also attending the convention. It's nice.
Yeah.
Expensive, but nice.
Yes. So Jen E said this year nothing, but there's always next year. Sale's not over yet, honey. Sale's not over. There is still
You still
a
use
chance.
Still
Yeah.
a few days left. And they do say that be aware that even if you're let in, Sunday may sell out at any point.
Yeah, I haven't even seen that Sunday's running low yet.
It is. They did mention it when they said Thursday was sold out.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But Sunday is not
And that's it.
yet. Is it?
Everything is sold out.
Oh, now it's sold out, just as I said that.
Now it's a wrap, guys.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, if you didn't get it, you're out of luck, unless they do eBay auctions again, which personally I think is got a better than 50% chance of happening again.
I think it's very likely to happen again. And there's also still contests, which we always post in our contest hub. Someone has to win, and who says it's not going to be you? So it never hurts to enter. And yeah, good. I hope everybody got what they wanted. I really do. And if you didn't, there are so many other amazing cons out there that you can go to, or you can still go to San Diego and check out all of the amazing offsites, or you can wait and see what they do on eBay. But if they do it on eBay, I would definitely not get the first few, because those went for like $5,000 last year. They just kept adding them, and eventually they got down to like 500. So
I think the last few got down to like 400.
well, there you go.
So,
And they were still adding them, what, a week or two before the con?
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were down to the wire on those.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you got the patience, if you want to wait, the prices will go down and shouldn't have a problem.
Yeah. Well, I think that pretty much does it then. Again, I really hope you guys got what you wanted. And if you didn't, just know that it's supply and demand. Like, it's not that anyone like cheated the system. Unfortunately, there's just way too many people who want a badge than there are badges available.
Okay, so we're going to wrap this up. As Carrie mentioned earlier, the SDConCast will return for the 2020 season in May, but we will be doing a couple of special podcasts for WonderCon in March and April. We'll do a pre-show and a wrap-up show. So join us then for SDConCast. And yeah, I think that was it.
Yeah, super quick. Christina Garcia said SDCC should offer a resale feature. They used to, but not enough people return their badges, so they don't do that anymore. Okay, I think that pretty much does it.
Yeah, so in closing, thank you all for joining us. Andy, where can we find more of you on the internet?
You can find me on Twitter and the Gram as SDCC Wacky Wags. Carrie, where can we find more of you on the internet?
You can find me on Twitter at Carrie Dixon. James, where can we find you on the internet?
I am everywhere at Dan Regal, and you can also check out geekshotphoto.com for photography links for my wife and I. And speaking of my wife, thank you, Beth, our producer, for editing the show and doing all the other things to get this podcast into your ears. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Beth.
Thank you, Beth.
We are on iTunes. If you'd like to subscribe, the links are up on the blog, or search for SDConCast. If you like what you've heard so far, please review us. We're also on Stitcher Radio. The link is in the show notes. If you wish to get a hold of us, you can send us an email at sdcomiccon.blog@gmail.com. Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/sdconblog, or tweet us at sd_comic_con. I also want to briefly mention that we do have a Patreon. If you wish to throw a little money our way, all of the money goes into costs of operating the site. We don't make any money off the site. We're all basically volunteering our time, and in some cases, money.
Yes.
But this helps pay for the
Mostly
server.
mine,
yes. So if you're interested, the link is on the site, or you can just go to Patreon and search for what is it to search for? SD UBlog? Or
I think,
UBlog,
yeah, I
something
think
like
it
that.
is. Again,
We
the
don't
link
need-
is on The link is on
on
the
the
site. Yeah, but basically, it's just if you think that we provide a helpful service to you, you can kick a couple bucks back to us to say thanks, which we would greatly appreciate to keep our site up and running. But
And we
that's
do
all that is.
for certain levels and above, we do a Patreon only podcast once a month, and so you will be able to listen/watch us once a month and talk about whatever is new in Comic-Con or our lives, and
Star Wars with James.
more Star Wars
Star Wars
talk.
Talk with James.
Because that's pretty much going to be an ongoing thing all the time. So everybody, thank you all for watching/listening, and everybody,
Go shawarma.
McClunky!
McClunky!
I don't.